Then comes Keefe D. Keefe D was a shot caller for the Crips, and he was selling drugs. But he got caught up and arrested for the drug offenses. But while being interrogated, the officers offered him what's called a proffer agreement, which is basically if you give the investigators some real good information, then you'll basically get pardoned. Your criminal charges will go away for the drugs. Keefe D then goes and confesses about the Tupac murder, because already the police kind of knew Keefe D was somewhat involved in the murders. That's why they kind of offered him, yo, tell us the details of that and we'll let your drug charges disappear. So Keefe D goes and confesses that his nephew Orlando Anderson was the shooter, and he even named where everybody was sitting in the car. He went into a lot of details about the crime. And this was back in 2015 or 16 is when he confessed to the investigators. But then after this, around 2018-19, Keefe D started relaying the information about the shooting on social media. By this point, he'd already written a book about the whole events. And of course it would have made noise at the time, but once you put your face on camera and start explaining it to people who don't really read, aren't really paying attention to that book, but they definitely get on YouTube and watch these interviews. So the first place he went on was DJ Vlad. Vlad was basically asking him questions about things he put in the book, but Keefe D was very tight-lipped about all the details. He pretty much would just say, yo, get the book and you can know what happened. But over the years he's got a bit more comfortable with the camera, and he's been on different platforms like Art of Dialogue and gone into great detail about who was sitting where, what happened, and pretty much every single minute detail of the events of the Tupac shooting. So there you have an individual, the only surviving individual who was in the vehicle that shot at Tupac and Suge Knight, going on platforms for years, about 2 or 3 years, talking about how he was involved, without saying he's the actual shooter, but saying he's involved with the murder of the legendary Tupac. It was also a matter of weeks ago that the Las Vegas police got a warrant to search Keefe D's house. I mean, obviously he's not going to have the gun or the bullets or any real physical evidence from 1996 in his house, but they confiscated a lot of things such as his computer and a lot of files in his home. But a recent interview with Chris Carroll, the guy that had the last conversation with Tupac before he died, believes that Las Vegas police won't offer Keefe D a deal at all, and he doesn't imagine Keefe D will plead guilty, so it's most likely that it will probably go to trial, which makes it very, very tasty, because if Keefe D is going to fight this in trial, he's going to fight tooth and nail, bring out every card he can to beat this case.